So, this is just going to be my opinion on how to actually handle these events when it comes to classism. And classism is a popular thing in a lot of media. Uh, the first thing I think about is Hunger Games, and I think in Hunger Games, when they had all the victory people, all the people should have been horribly deformed. Missing fingers and limbs, eyes gouged out, burned, mutilated, scars, and mentally deformed too. They should be PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, completely mentally ill. Even that chick Everdeen, the chick that makes it, she should have been burned and horribly mutilated. And by the time she got there, like she should have had a moment when she looked around, looking at the bourgeoisie, the rich class, and how they're in perfect form, and it was all handed to them. But then they told her she had to go through these horrible things, which leaves her horribly deformed and horribly mutilated to get there. That's the only way in. That's how that works. We only respect strength while being simultaneously soft and weak and pathetic. Okay. And I would go as far as even the shit they did to me, heavy metal poisoning. A lot of the members should be messed up mentally from fucking being exposed to noxious chemicals, from barely surviving events, leaving them, like I said, horribly deformed. But this is another thing you want to talk about classism is Armstrong versus Raiden in the Metal Gear Revengeance game. It was a meme a few years ago where fucking Raiden just starts punching Armstrong in the abs and nothing happens, which is a metaphor for fucking diplomatic immunity. You can't do anything to him because he's a senator. And even Armstrong's dumb speeches where he's like, well, I don't write my own speeches because he's a fake person, okay? And he goes on the whole, I'm not a beltway pansy, like, I went to whatever school and I played college ball, like, and it's all self-righteous. And this is the thing, why fascism appeals to the rich, okay? It's because they're inherently powerful because they have money. Not because they're inherently strong people, but because they have money, okay? With Armstrong when he's telling Raiden, but you did survive, and you did it by playing by your own rules, and you made it, and the thing with Raiden is he recognizes this system was created by a guy that was handed everything, and in this guy's arrogance, he somehow believes he earned something, or worse, he's entitled to it. You should just give it to me, okay? And the thing about this is, this is a simple, bare bones metaphor. Willpower is measured in cookies. It's measured in the amount of sugar that's in your system that enables you to keep going. Everything burns out, everything shuts down. Okay? That's what happens, unless you're microdosing on LSD like these losers from the church do, in which case you can go longer because you're microdosing on LSD. If you're nothing without your LSD, you'll never be anything with it. That's hypocrisy, by the way. So Armstrong, think about this. Okay, you have a guy that gets to eat and a guy that doesn't get to eat. They're competing. Who's gonna win? I'll give you 10 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 the guy that eats. The guy that hasn't eaten, it doesn't make you play harder, it doesn't make you go harder. It makes you give up, it causes exhaustion, and then you eventually die of starvation. That is the natural state of things, okay? One of the weirdest stories I ever heard growing up, it was this football player, and this guy, I know he's full of shit, because dude was like 300 pounds, and he was like a linebacker or some shit, and he was like, I'd go to bed starving to death. How the fuck are you that big if you just starve to death every night, you lying sack of shit? You lying sack of shit. Okay? I will always have a problem with people when there's blatant inconsistencies, when they are just full of shit. Okay? So, yeah. And Armstrong's self-righteous speech as he talks to Ryden, a guy that's been through hell, Ryden, a guy of real experience, a true superior being to Armstrong himself, who was given everything, took everything, and was trying to plunge the world into another fucking war, and then was going on about how the world needs to be ruled by strength, not committee. Strong people need to be in charge, not because they're smart, not because they're intelligent, but because they're violent, stupid people. And then he's like, I'm going to get rid of heartless wars, and every man will find their own reason to go to war and fight. And I'm going to just... A violent, stupid world. A violent, stupid world where it's only the people below the bourgeoisie that'll be going to war. The wealthy people, like Armstrong, aren't going to be the one fighting those battles. They're going to be the ones sitting at home doing nothing. And they're going to watch the violence, and they're going to envy it and wish they were man enough to be that guy. When I worked at Wendy's, we worked with a military guy, and the military guy talks about how he couldn't fucking stand police officers because they were always harassing him. And he told me, he said, the problem with police officers is they weren't man enough to join the military, so when they meet military guys, they're like, oh, you think you're better than me? You think you're smarter than me? You think... No, but I do think... And he said, no, but I do think I'm more of a man than you'll ever be, because I actually took that step, you coward. And he went on a thing talking about how the police constantly harass him when he's going in and out of his house because they can't handle the fact that they weren't man enough to join the military. Okay. And I think this is the same problem with the bourgeoisie and people who actually have grit, people who actually make something of themselves. And here's the thing, when you go about it that way, once again, mutilation happens. Okay, they say it's sacrifice, 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 but then you get there. But is it worth the sacrifice? You sacrifice everything. You sacrifice your intelligence, you sacrifice your family, you sacrifice your wife, you sacrifice everything around you for that one moment of glory. Is it worth it? Okay, is it worth it? And I would argue there's probably a lot of people who just sit around in deep lament and are like, no. It shouldn't have had to be this fucking hard. And then you get up there and you find out these people make it hurt. They do it by design. They make it as hard as they can. And they just keep hurting people and then screaming it's good for them. When they themselves come from an easy life where they were never tested. They never injured anybody and told them they had to earn their keep. They never did any of these things. And this stuff feeds into Blondie, by the way. Because I remember Blondie snapping about... Patreon, was it the sex workers, ladies who work in sex that like make millions of dollars, and fucking any woman that made a large amount of money without being in a wealthy family. He went on a fucking tear at Papa John's about how he hates all those people because they're trying to earn money doing something they love, doing something they enjoy. And he's been miserable his entire fucking life because he's been told what to do and he knows how to take it in the ass mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And he went on a tear, which makes me wonder exactly why he's interested in Mary Bowberry if she is completely against all of his values. But then again, he himself doesn't have values. He said that, okay? Once again, you're dealing with a guy that believes in hurting good people. You gotta teach them a lesson. They can't be good people, okay? They're not allowed to do that. That's against his rules, okay? His arbitrary, made-up, stupid rules. The fact of the matter is the only fucking thing I want is to be left alone. And I know when I say that, what I want is to have control of my life. And, like, dude, fuck these people. Fuck these people. Okay? Fuck these people. Like, they're not special. They're not unique. They can all be diagnosed. They're all extremely mentally ill, and everybody on the planet seems to want to play into their neuroses and just give them what they want. As they scream, follow the rules, but then they themselves don't follow their own rules. They do not follow their own rules. They lie about everything. Okay? Like, I don't even, one of the things that I realized probably the biggest self-righteous shit I ever fucking heard, and I realize a lot of the things I say on my page is just out of frustration and I'm venting anger, which is what these videos are for. So, whatever, fucking the blue-eyed guy talking about integrity. Integrity means acting within your morals. And then he has to go around killing women because Stu told him he has to murder that woman. Okay, cool. So I'm assuming, blue-eyed guy, part of your morals is you murder women and you for some reason believe that's a good thing, and you know he's watching this going, no! Like, yeah. What are your values? Maybe you should write them down. We used to do this thing in elementary school where we used to write down what was important to us. Maybe you need to write it down and put it on your wall and tell Stu that you're not going to do any of these things. Okay? They go against these things, and then see how well that goes, because he's just going to scream, you promised you'd do what I want. Oh, victim. Like, maybe one of your values should be you kill bastards, and then explain to Stu you're a bastard, and then shoot him in the head. Ugh. Whatever, man. Furthest things from men you can possibly be. Every one of them's a female. They're all women. Yeah. These are just my thoughts on the subject. Fascism go hand in hand with wealthy people, because wealthy people have it all handed to them. They've never earned a damn thing. They're not valuable in any form, okay? And they feel entitled to everything, so... And inherently, the fascist regime puts the boot down on the working class. They trick the working class into somehow believing everything is everybody else's fault, when it's actually the rich fucks that need to have their heads chopped off. Okay? It's the rich fucks that need to be brutalized, killed, and murdered in horrible fucking ways. That is how things have to go. Alright, there is no other way, because the rich people don't leave you another way of dealing with them. They can't be good people by their own nature. Yeah.